Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Talks with Tanya. How are you? How are you this evening? Thanks so much for joining. Thank you so very much for joining on this holiday weekend. I'm still in the holiday mindset. Yes, it was. It was really good to see uh, the photos on on Facebook and Instagram, and the greetings and you know, the small celebrations. Yes, of course, the small celebration. Hey, Karasi. Hey, Queen. Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Hi, I appreciate you joining. Thank you. So it was kind of an odd week because I felt like there were two Mondays, with the holiday. Um, but nowadays, Mondays is not as much of a bad thing as a dreaded thing as it had been in the past for me. And truth be told, I want to continue being able to operate with that mindset. So yeah, welcome to Talks with Tanya. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tanya Bain, and I am the host and executive producer of Talks with Tanya. And I welcome you here. And Talks with Tanya is and thanks to you, your most liked digital news and talk show. And here at Talks with Tanya, we talk about what's on your mind. We interview guests of excellence, and I get to share my view, okay, with you. And that's my favorite part, right? So I want you to sit back and relax, and we're going to get into today's topic now. So today, hey, I am going to be talking about embracing the possibilities. And earlier this week, I was going through. I'm not even going to mention how many emails that I was going through. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome. And I found a meditation, and the meditation was entitled Seize the Moment. Seize the Moment. And it said, I'll share it with you. I embrace the possibilities for good in this moment. And that really grabbed me because, in the midst of the circumstances that we find ourselves in, COVID-19, the um, chaos in the chaos in the government. Hey, Erica, how are you? How are you? The chaos in our lives as a result of the dysfunctional flow in the air, the reset of the pause, right? Because we thought that it was going to, COVID was slowing up, but we didn't really listen to the right folks. But all of those things going on in the backdrop, embracing the possibilities. When I first read that, was like, wow, that's a tall order about now. But let me just share what the meditation said, and how I was encouraged from this. And the meditation says, I am a manifestation of God, and every moment God's life, love, wisdom, and power flow throughout me. I like that, flow throughout me. It inspires me to begin thinking of problems as possibilities. As they say, stop right there now. When we look back at the source of where everything comes from, it comes from the Almighty, the universal God, Almighty, all powerful. Uh, you know, when we rethink and reset where it is that we view that from, then you can get inspired, right? It says it inspires me to begin thinking of problems as possibilities. And that stuck with me. Um, you know, Ask yourself right now, what good thing is ready to happen in my life right now? I recognize my divine nature and my perspective transforms. I find meaning in every situation and every moment. The statement, wherever I am, God is, becomes a vibrant reality. We have an unlimited divine life, and through that, eternal love, unparalleled wisdom, and supreme power. Because as we move through with God, we are able to achieve all things. God's life, love, wisdom, and power are displayed in my decisions and in my actions. In my decisions and in my actions. And thanks so much for allowing me to share that with you. And so I kind of meditated on that all week long, trying to kind of shift the direction of my energy. And in my conversations with others, when we got beyond the surface conversation, like who was cooking and the disappointment about not being able to be around friends and family, from every single person that I spoke to, there was a sense of not hopelessness, but there was the energy around the possibilities of what's next was a little bit diminished. And I thought, well, perhaps let me share a way to reframe that. And because even for myself, I'm feeling like that shift. I was speaking to, I think it was Mandisa. We were talking about the the seasonal depression. All right, someone mentioned that to me, and they said, you know what, I haven't taken that into account. During this time, I usually get sad, even though regularly, in the past, it's been we weren't in the same environment that we were in. Yes, sad. Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Karasi. Yes. Seasonal. What does it mean? I don't even. I know you're going to put that in the chat because I'm not the one to guess what that is. It's not my lane. But we're impacted by all of those things in addition to what we know is going on, and then the underlying things that people are going through as a result of the shift in the world we live and how we live, and the reintroduction of more limitations, whether we agree with them, or not. And for me, I started to think, well, how in the heck did I get to where I was anyway? And that's what one of the things I'm going to share with you. We have accomplished so much, But so often we are so vested in where we are right now that we fail to look back um, for getting tips or operating ideas on how we got this place, to this place so far. So we need to be able to look back on our experiences, and the outcomes, whether they were positive, or they had us rethink or redo things, and consider what my definition of success was, and take how it is that I've been able to get to this point, and use that as a jumping off place to move forward. So you begin to look at the possibilities and become more able to embrace them when you said, you know what, I got to this place before and I was able to, make it through. I know that, based on that, I am going to be able to move forward. So I think we should start by asking some questions first about, how is it that what are we thinking about right now, and what are the things we need to deal with in order to reframe how it is that we look at the possibilities so that we can embrace them. We got to kind of, take a little bit of a deep dive to see what is really going on underneath that is directing us and or distracting us from feeling good about moving forward. So do you ever take a look at what other people are doing, and perhaps it brings up some feelings that, wow, I should be further ahead and than I am, because I'm looking at this other person. What is it that I'm not doing? Do you ever think about that? Like, wow, they've gotten this far, or whatever that might be. The comparing. I know on social media we hear about it as well. Oh, they have more, what is it, followers or whatever it is, or they got more likes. So, we have that measure of success. But you need to ask yourself those kind of questions, because that is at the underlying base for why it is that you may not be moving forward or looking at the possibilities, because you're stuck. You're stuck right. You ask yourself, what if you could, do like someone else does, or, move forward, move ahead. And why did I get picked to, get laid off and now there's no unemployment, or whatever the situation might be? If we begin by asking some questions, then you're able, and really taking an honest look at yourself, and answering those questions, then we're able to kind of frame where it is that we are right now. All right. So start from where you are. In order to see the possibilities, you need to start from where you are. And then, secondly, look at where you've come from. Okay, look at where you come from. People say, well, don't look back, it's the past. We do want to act on successful strategies, okay, that we've used in the past. We just don't want to dwell on the things that took us down the rabbit hole that, delayed, delayed where it is that people, end up. Some comments, okay, comparison. I tend to say, what chapter of life are they in? You may be in chapter 5, and they may be on chapter 12. Awesome point. That's why I like hanging out with you. Absolutely, because we don't know We don't know everything else, everything that's going on with somebody else. So we make some assumptions, and as a result of that, we're the ones that are, putting ourselves down. So we do want to watch the comparison. So, start from where you are. Remember where you came from. All right. And take a look at why it is you may not be where it is that you want to be. All right. And I did some research, among my favorite things to do. But there were four reasons why people fail to achieve their dreams. And I'm going to paraphrase them, for you, because I think that it is important for us to take a look at that. And this was a general survey. So you are not the only one. You're not the only one. Most people fail to achieve their dreams because of four reasons. They don't believe they can. Okay. I'm not going to go into detail. That is a whole session. Okay. Coming soon. They don't believe they can. And it's not that we don't know that, we've got to believe first. There are certain behaviors and lifestyles that kind of trigger us into a point where, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm not tall enough, to go there. Or I don't have a degree, or I'm not, certified, certifiable, but not certified, or all of those things. I'm too old. I heard that today. I was like, please, please. Let's not talk like that. Right. Thank you. Wow. The truth, right? Oh, that I'm certifiable. Well, let me clarify that. But they don't believe that they can. And if you look at my personal page on Facebook, it says she believed. And I do. And I don't change that often, because that is kind of a go-to for me. You got to believe. So, let's believe that you can. All right. The second one is they set poor goals. Because people say, well, just go ahead and set a goal. Well, there is a whole process to that. That's a system in order to set effective goals. All right. A goal is not a goal is not your to-do list. It's not your check-off list. There are things that, in order to reach your goal, you create the steps, but we set poor goals. We limit ourselves. We don't go into the details of it. So, there is an entire process for setting goals and understanding, what they are. So, they don't believe they can. They set poor goals. They don't understand the process and the reality of setting appropriate goals, and goals that can be in baby steps. They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. That is so critical. You have to have a plan. But again, there is a process for creating a plan. So, you want to keep that in mind. And then the thing that gets me, okay, is so often, and even myself, so often we get to a place where we don't execute on our plans. We allow things to get in the way. We don't We don't have a plan. And so how can we execute? We fail to take action. We fail to do critical thinking. There are a million resources out there on how to. All you have to do is Google it. How to anything. And it's out there. I'm accustomed to the Encyclopedia Britannica and going under the letter and, looking it up, but it still wasn't quite like Google. But anyway, I digress, which I could do. But, people fail to achieve their dreams because they don't believe they can. They set poor goals. They don't have a plan, and they do not execute. One of the main reasons, kind of, let's go right back to the top of that, is that if you're not clear on what it is that you believe in, then how could you believe that you could? All right. So at the foundation of this is clarity. And for me, clarity is something you could take for 50 years and try and figure it out. But the best clarity that you can achieve is you need to take time in order to do that. So if we are, running off and we are not understanding where we are, and in order to set a path forward, we are really setting ourselves up for failure. Exactly, Dr. Ken. We limit ourselves by not going into the details. And I am really guilty of that because I'm a visionary. Okay. Like I can see the vision for myself and a lot of other people too. But unless we plan it out into the details, we're not going to be as effective as we can be, and it's more difficult to execute. Some things that people get a little confused as well is, and I'm a big proponent of affirmations and meditation and focus and so forth. But unless you even approach that with a plan, it's not going to be effective. And affirmations alone, without action, without execution, is not going to get you where you need to go. The affirmations should usher you closer to taking the actions, because those are the things that remind you that you can. Okay, I can do this. I do believe, I will have a plan. I will work out the details. I will understand with clarity. So, all of this is a process. And if we try and skip a step, we are less effective in being able to embrace the possibilities because they seem so far away. So it's important that you not only include affirmations, but then you do the work as well. A few things that you can do to kind of get moving would be to build up resilience. Karasi and I talked about resilience a couple of weeks ago. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly, okay, and repeatedly when things happen to you. So, you want to build up your resilience, and you build up your resilience, all right, by, creating the plan, believing. All of these things are are tied into each other, but it takes work at each step in order for you to move forward with progress. I don't want to be in front of you too long. Okay, I'm not doing too bad. All right. The other thing that will help you be able to embrace the possibilities is to strive to get into the flow. So the flow is what happens for me when you're so absorbed in an activity, action, that you lose track of time. And during that time, while you're in the flow, your creative juices are going. Now, let me just put a parenthesis here or whatever. Too much of something is not good. So, when I was in corporate America, I was a workaholic. I'm a recovering workaholic. Just own it, Tanya. So getting into the flow excites me, but we need to be aware of that. So many of us are high performers. Okay, so many of us are striving to work through the perfection infection that we have. So you want to be careful with that. But when you're in the flow, you want to be able to focus so that you can maximize the outcomes, and then you are more likely to execute on the plan. Pursue intrinsic goals. And this really kind of goes back to preparing yourself on different levels, making sure that you're, focused on your personal growth, utilizing, the resources that are available to you, professional help, a group coaching, a video, community service, just all kinds of things that you can, focus on, which really propel you with additional energy so that you can move forward and accomplish your goals, more effectively. This is a big one, okay? Be what you want to be. Be what you want to be. It's really difficult to execute on goals and, achieve success when you're constantly wanting or trying to be what others want you to be. I'm just going to give that like a few seconds. I know that, again, as high achievers, women, the expectations that are placed on us, caregivers, all of those things that our responsibilities, we need to make sure that we apply some balance, okay, there, and be what you want to be. Because even if you get to where it is that others say that you should go, it is very likely that you're going to be disappointed because it's not about you. Okay, as my friend and coach Antoinette Blake says all the time, is be you, boo. So be you, boo. Okay, because that just saves a lot of energy. But I thought this was interesting. Okay, this. Master the ability to control your attention. Your quality of life is directly linked to what you pay attention to. All right. So if you're not paying attention to something, and not trying to be a busybody, then it's very likely that if it's something that's important in your life, it's going to impact that. So, for example, your health. um, if you are not taking care of yourself, doing the things that you need mentally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, like the whole thing, then it is very likely that you are not going to be as effective because you are not in control. Okay. Or you're not paying attention to things that are important. All right. And you can play the lottery, but um, the likelihood of winning the lottery and not having to take the actions is slim to none. So, not that I don't, but you want to consider how it is that you are moving forward. Um, you know, if you don't really want to get there, okay, and some of this comes into pleasing somebody else and not being clear. Um, if you decide that you don't want to follow the steps and you don't want to embrace the possibility, then that's okay. Because wherever you are, then that's the okay place for you. And no judgment, no judgment. So then again, be you, boo. But if you really want to get there, you cannot continue to not take action in order to get there. So embracing the possibilities means taking the steps, completing the action so that you can get to where it is that you have identified. So, two prerequisites for getting to your possibilities are a desire and willingness to commit to pursuing your dream and having a dream. Okay. So even in that, there's work in doing that. So it doesn't matter if you don't know how to achieve your dream. All right. That's why it's important to take the steps to be clear, okay, and identify what it is that you want and what it is that is important to you. All that matters is that you want to achieve it, the belief, okay? You create a plan, okay, a roadmap. You take the action required in order to get to the possibilities. How do you get there? Okay, very, very simply placed. What I can say for certain is that when you take the time to get clear, I said clarity and clear like 20 times already. All right. So hint, hint, um, is that when you take the time to get clear, which is the why, okay, and the why of doing something or getting to a goal or wanting to is what's going to drive you. Then you're able to assess the what and the where and the how. Okay, so those W's, who, what, where, when, how, and why, and H, we learned them for a reason. That is actually the process or part of the execution plan for you to get to embracing the possibilities. And all we're talking about really is doing the work. So my question for you is, how much longer are you going to put off your dreams? Whatever that might be. There are a lot of us that are in business, but a dream, for your family. It can be an individual dream. It can be a family goal and a family dream. These steps are, you can substitute what it is that you want to get to once you are clear. But if you don't, take the time to um, think about the possibilities, understand what it is, that's required in order to get there and do the work, um, embracing the possibilities um, becomes a real challenge, and we end up very, very disappointed. The only thing that you need to bring with you is a dream, a desire to achieve it, and the fortitude, okay? The fortitude to take each step outlined in your possibility plan. All right? Very, very simple. There's work, but it's very simple. All right. Well, let's just read some of the comments because we have some brilliant people here. Yes, we limit ourselves, but not going into the detail. Thank you very much. Your power lies within your belief system. It really does. And we need to take the time in order to reset, recalibrate. Because after a while, we just keep doing the same. You get up every morning, you do the same thing. Now we're, back in more than we're out, or even more. So absolutely, you gotta believe. You just have to believe. Oh, you like my perfection infection? I just made that up, but yes, and it's important for us to do the work. So I my goal in coming to you today was to just share some information and share the journey that I'm on as well. It's the end of the year, and this has been, well, actually, I think the end of 2020 was in like February. I don't know where we've been in this maze or haze or wherever we are right now. But wherever we are now, it is my goal to help people move forward. Help people move forward in life by, doing what we do on Talks with Tanya, informing, educating, impacting, and connecting. All right. So I want to make sure that you understand how important it is to follow the steps that I shared. And when you're ready, and you want to reach out to me, you know how to get me. Just reach out to me at Tanya Inspires. You can reach me on Messenger, and just for you. You are going to get a free 20-minute information session with Tanya. And basically, we'll just talk. All right. So if you're interested in doing that, just drop me a messenger and DM. Okay. Go to Tanya Inspires. You can actually go to Tanya Inspires and jump on my schedule calendar, and my availability is there for you as well. 2021 is upon us. I am right in the midst of setting up the schedule for our guest schedule for 2021. I say this every week, but I really am. I'm really excited. I got to find a new adjective for that. Some amazing guests and some, more lessons to be learned as we move forward into our next and best, because that's where most of us really want to be, getting to what's next for ourselves and those in our circle of care. So remember to take the steps that we talked about. Come back and join me next week on Talks with Tanya, 8 p.m. on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. I drop the podcast gets dropped at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Talks with Tanya, the podcast on Anchor FM, And you can find me on Facebook, no, YouTube, the other medium, on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel under Tanya Inspires. Feel free to drop in there. Make sure when you go in there that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you know when I am on. Thank you so very much for joining me this evening. Continue to operate with that spirit of gratefulness and thanksgiving as we move through this season. And I want you to always remember to what? Stay inspired. Love you. Bye-bye.